In addition to that there is democratization of technology, especially in terms of IT, when we have, free Wi-Fi almost, or Geo coming into picture, or variety of other service players competing to give you almost free services for internet so that you can communicate. And then comes the most recent one is AI, artificial intelligence. Big data and artificial intelligence combined together to gather data across the globe, in real time, and gather information about you in a very personalized way, and predicting even your thoughts. There is, futurist approach by variety of professors who believe that in very near future we will have chips inserted in our brain, whereby we will be able to boost our memory. We will have specs, or we will have contact lens, which will have everything embedded in your own language, or in your own, personalized languages, including coded language, including which only you will be able to decipher, and make use of it during examination. When you have something to appear for a competitive examinations, or including classroom examinations for your undergrad or postgrad courses, one can wear the lens and have a click and answer the questions after just using those lenses. That kind of thing has already started coming in. 2 years back, I was in Dubai with Prime Minister's delegation. There I learned already there is a technology which inserts injection in your hand or somewhere in part of your body, which works as a chip, and you don't have to carry your ID proof. That chip contains everything, and you just need to swipe, that part of thing in front of a scanner, and your passport details, your ID, your bank details, everything is done, and you don't have to carry anything. So this experiment has already started. Driverless trains, driverless motors have already come into picture. There are a variety of technologies that are taking place, including seamless welding, including robot, including all these things require language there, because information is needed, number one, instructions are needed, number two, and even when they are acquiring your thoughts, or they are trying to understand you, they need to track your hand, they need to track your sound, they need to track your movements, locations, and in your own language. So the importance of language has grown manifold in last 10 years or 20 years or so. So my now point is, how this old school and new school is, taking into consideration all these old and new school points. I will now come to more realistic approach to studies, and that is applied languages. All these things which I have explained were more of a traditional thing. After the linguistic approach came into picture in languages and more development took place in linguistics, it has certain branches which plays important role for understanding of our talk today. And one is it has role in bilingualism, multilingualism. It has a role in understanding conversation, so we call it conversation analysis, contrastive linguistics, and sign linguistics. Similarly, there came a language assessment, then comes literature, then comes discourse analysis, then comes language teaching and pedagogy, then comes second language acquisition, language planning, interlinguistics. All these come under a study called linguistic studies, which is certainly a branch, a more specialized branch of language acquisition. And from that applied linguistic approach, there comes another approach, and that is language business and translation. After these things were developed and variety of things were being researched by linguists, there came application of all this language linguistic approach, and that came into picture was language business and translation. So in language business, certainly there are certain major points that come into picture, and that is translation, number one. Another one is interpretation. Then we have language school, language training. Then we have technology and research. Then we have management, administration, and so on. These are certain points which attract a student after having studied languages, right? So when we are talking about trying to expand the horizons of languages through applied linguistics, languages people or language researchers have already started using them in these broad areas of studies, and traditionally I will say these are certain points where most of the people try to locate themselves after having studied languages, including certain pockets like working for diplomatic missions or working for certain NGOs, etc. But what is more important is in recent development is development of language plus translation plus in using through IT. In IT has integrated now Google Translation, you might be knowing, is one important tool now being used by everybody almost. Although people keep on saying that it is the wrong translation, it does so and so. That is why the role of language people are there. You exist because Google cannot do it. But certainly, if you reject Google and do not make use of it and keep rejecting it, there will be time when you will face stiff competition from those you are using technology. So it is very important for us to integrate with the technologies and start making use of certain tools. We call it computer assisted translation tools, including terminology tools, including online tools. There are certain AI tools also coming into picture. There are certain plugins that has come into picture. Government of India has been working in this regard a lot. CDAC has developed a variety of tools, although it has not been democratized because of variety of other marketing problems or approach problem from the administration. But in India, there has been quite good number of development taking place, including now the private initiatives have also taken place. Government as well as certain stakeholders are already working for developing machine tools for translation of court orders from one language to another. Fortunately, I'm also part of that consortium that consists of currently 5 IITs from different parts of India, including IIT Kanpur, DHU, IIT Delhi, IIT Patna, as well as Triple IIT Hyderabad. So now there is another, dimension of language where we have to make use of, these converters like PDF converters. We have to use file editors. We have to do alignment. We have to use dictionary developers. All these things, are important for us to develop our horizons. And importantly, even when we are talking about tools, now there are hybrid tools that has come into picture. Earlier, these tools were like, you feed certain sentence structure, let's say 1 lakh sentences. But slowly, there came a time when machine was more smarter. So they started feeding memory, then certain sentence structure. And then the machine learns from those sentences structure as well as from your memory and develops a kind of intuitive translation and gives you good translation from one language to another language for all those parts which it could process. And after having processed memory as well as your understanding your pattern, they are now giving you suggestions for those parts which are not already pre-translated. So if one uses these tools, the efficiency increases very high. For example, if you were able to transfer information of, let's say, 10 pages from one language to another language in 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours, after using these tools, you will be able to drastically decrease the time to complete it. You will be happy to note that in our internship program that we generally provide to most of the new interns, newbies, we call it. Every year we organize this internship program. And in that, last year, we had developed a rubric called Modlingua rubric that helps you to make use of certain tools, including Grammarly, to increase your efficiency and reduce your work time by almost half, So if your time is saved, you earn it. And just imagine if there are bigger projects in which 100 people are working, and if they use that matrix, can you imagine how many number of hours they can save? So this kind of innovation or this kind of activities, I believe, is again additional dimension for the language learning and acquisition. And if as a student, if as a researcher, if as a teacher, you are able to at least create interest in these dimensions among students, I believe your task will be over, because the idea is to create more interest, and the more interest we create, the better it is for our profession of language, because they will be able to link this traditional way of language acquisition to new dimensions And there are practical dimensions I'm talking about. It is not that it is impossible. We are already doing it. The only need is we need to integrate them.